Hello and welcome to Audio Quick Tips. My name's Lee Woodward. Today I'll be joined by Mr. John McGrath, and you're going to land in the middle of a conversation where we're discussing and scripting the fee debate. Let's cross to John.
I'll be the vendor, and let's do the greatest one of all time. John, I appreciate what you've said. However, I think the McGrath fee is far higher than the competitor down the road who's also got great marketing. They're getting lots of results in the area. Why should I choose you?
Lee, thanks for raising that, because I think from our discussion, it sounds as though you'd like to move ahead with us. So can I just understand that if we can agree on a commercial fee this morning, you're happy to move ahead with our company and have me look after the sale for you?
John, I think I would, yes.
Okay, so I guess what I'd like to talk about now is, our fee for your home, which is worth about $500,000, is 3%. And I know you've been quoted 2% by agents that have a reasonable reputation and would probably do quite a good job also. So what we're talking about is a $5,000 differential. So what I'm trying to do here, Lee, and if I can just break out a role play for a minute, is just get them to agree that if you can agree on fees, then you've got the business. Because otherwise you can do a great selling job on them and you can do a great presentation, and then all of a sudden they say, okay, well, thanks for doing that. Now let's talk about no fee, no charge. Now let's talk about I don't like auctioning. Now let's talk about open agency. So I think you've got to tie it down to one specific issue. Then what I used to try and do is quantify that down to dollar amount. So I've actually gone from 3% to 2% to $5,000. And then I would then sell the McGrath added value for $5,000 and then try and quantify that. And I would write the things down. So, Lee, one of the things I'd like to run through again is, what I think are the really key points of difference that our competitors certainly don't have. And let me just now talk about our website, our marketing plan, our auctioneers. And I would then list them down and I would go through each and every one of them. And then on the other column, I'd have $5,000. And so then I'd say, so Lee, what I'm looking at here is a situation where I believe these are all added value. And I think that they're going to bring a tremendous result for you at the end of it. And there is a slightly higher cost, and it equates to about $5,000, and then bring them back to the net sale proceeds and so forth. So I think it's really about tying them down to a specific to make sure that there's one final objection, and if you overcome that one, you're going to move forward. Then quantify the actual dollar value. And now that was $5,000 in my instance. For a lot of listeners, the difference between them and a competitor could be hundreds or $1,000 or $2,000. It doesn't necessarily have to be $5,000 or $10,000 or $15,000. So that should be relatively easy to overcome. Then I would make sure that you've covered all of the areas of added value so they understand why you should be more expensive.
Excellent.
To use.
A great thing you did there was you did isolate my concern and you separated and pointed out what the possible difference is. Another great couple of things to happen that when you go into that sort of dialogue is the owner can actually then say, well, how are you going to handle this? John, I could offer you the same rate as somebody else. However, one thing I don't do is panic as a business person. In being in real estate for a long period of time, it's something I've noticed a lot with people that they panic.
Yes.
And the agent who's offering you the cheaper rate is panicking that they're not going to get your business. But I can pretty much well assure you that you put that person in front of a buyer who makes an okay offer, not the maximum offer, they may panic again and tell you this is all you're going to get.
Yeah.
And you've got to be very careful with people with habits like that.
And by then also, Lee, if I'd have done my job right, which hopefully I had done, I would know who I was up against, how many other agents, what was their circumstance, how quickly they capitulate with regard to commissions, because I'd know that from doing research and from hearing from clients before. So I might be able to even deal with it with a greater degree of specific nature. So it might be, I really understand the agent X up the road. Just give me a sense of how long it took you to negotiate them down to that 2%. Well, I just asked them, I said, what's your best fee? And they proposed 3, and then they came down to 2. So then I would say, well, one of the things, Lee, would be if they're going to do that with their own fees, what about when an offer comes in on your property? How quickly are they going to look towards giving your money away so they can get their 2%? With regard to that, I see myself as a professional negotiator. I protect my fees because I believe in the service that we offer, just the same way that I'm going to protect your home's value and I'm going to sell the benefits so we can make sure we maximise full price for your property. It's the same way that I would like to deal with my fees here today. And bring it back to people understanding that if you want a professional agent, you've got to pay for a professional agent. I'm not going to stand here and say I've never done a deal under 3%. But what I will say is that we have consistently, and certainly when I was selling, a consistently higher fee because I worked harder at protecting it than most agents do.
Thank you, John. As you can listen to our quick tip, It's not about matching the fees of the competitor. It's about you getting across to your owner that you have the knowledge, you have the marketing. But do you have the knowledge and do you have the marketing? Do you believe in that? Or do you just believe you're an agent like anyone else and there is no difference? From my experience in coaching, and this is my quick tip for you within the tip, you must believe deeply from your own product knowledge, the intensive training and learning you have completed, that by you representing the owner, they will profit from your knowledge. It's not a fee. They are receiving profit from your knowledge. And what I mean by that is, in a negotiation, $5,000 can be in 2 sentences. $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 is what you can extract when you know what you're doing. So the owner isn't paying you a fee. They're profiting from your skill set. When the owner brings a property to the market, that is the product. And they don't have to sell the property. If you get a price that is high enough, they agree to release it. But every $5,000, $10,000 you get is actually tax-free money if it's their principal place of residence. And that's where they profit from your knowledge. Hope you've enjoyed our quick tips. I'm Lee Woodward, and I look forward to seeing you at the next Complete Salesperson course. Goodbye.